Today we're going to be looking at some more trig equations and adding one extra step. So because this is all non-calculator today, you know you're going to be needing your chart and your unit circle. So let's take a look at number 1. So this is what we've been doing before. This first part should be familiar. We're going to use our chart to find our reference angle, and then we're going to use the positive or negative to find the quadrants. So let's take a look at our chart. We're looking for when cosine is root 3 over 2. Here's cosine. Here's root 3 over 2. That is when our angle is 30 degrees or pi over 6. That's our reference angle. And the negative sign here tells you that your cosine is negative, which would be in the second quadrant and the third quadrant. So what's new about today is that we have something else to take into account. This problem is telling us that tangent is greater or equal to 0. What this means is that your tangent is a positive number. If it's greater than 0, it means it's positive. If it's less than 0, it's negative. So if we want tangent to be positive, we are actually not done with this chart, because now we're looking at when is tangent positive. I'm going to do this in a different color. So tangent is positive when you are either in the first quadrant or in the third quadrant. So now we're looking at only one of these quadrants where both of these things are true. Right, so cosine is negative in these two, tangent is positive in these two, and the only one where both of them are true is in the third quadrant. So now our answer is only going to be in this quadrant. We're still going to be using our reference angle that we found with this number. Because we're in the third quadrant, we're going to be starting at 180 degrees and adding 30 degrees. Or we're going to be starting at pi, which is 6 pi over 6, and also adding pi over 6. So in degrees, our solution is 210. In radians, if we add pi over 6 to 6 pi over 6, we end up with 7 pi over 6. So those are our two answers, one in degrees, one in radians. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. So for this first part of the problem, we're looking at sine is equal to 0. When we look at our chart, there is no place where sine is equal to 0. So right away you should know this is quadrantal. So we're going to look up at the chart on the right side of the board. We know that sine is y over r. So if I put over 1, r is always equal to 1. What this tells you is that your y is equal to 0. Let's take a look at the second part of this problem. Again, cosine does not have anything in the chart where it's 1. So this one's also quadrantal. We're going to be turning cosine into x over r. 1, r has to be equal to 1. It's never negative, so that means your x value has to be equal to negative 1. With these two things, now we are going to be looking at our unit chart. We are looking for where in your chart your x value is negative 1 and your y value is 0. So really what that means is that in your coordinate pair, which is y comma x, you're looking for negative 1 comma 0. So in our unit chart, negative 1, so if you move negative 1, which is 1 to the left, and then 0 up or down, we end up right here, which is at an angle of 180 degrees, or theta, or pi, excuse me, 180 degrees or pi. And that is your answer.